He's here to set you free. This is your moment, your time for victory.
I want to take this opportunity to welcome you back to our part 2 of our television series on the topic Surviving Your Famine. I want you to understand, if you're joining us now, you missed the first part, which was very important. I want you to understand that this topic is derived from Genesis chapter 26, and it's all about Isaac and his family during the time of famine. And we discovered in the other program that when Isaac was a young man, his father Abraham was in charge of things. He was the decision maker of the family. He's the one who guided the family and everything else. And when there came a famine during the time of his father Abraham, his father gathered all of them together and loaded them up in camels, on camelbacks or donkeys, and they took all the sheep and the goat and all the animals they had and the servant, the female and the male servants, and they left for Egypt. Little did he know that by taking his family to Egypt during the time of famine, walking away or running away from their country and going to a foreign country, he had programmed in the mind of his son Isaac that when there are famines, you run, or you can't stay. You actually can't stay. You can't stand it. You should not be there. You should run. When there is trouble, you should run. And now we came to realize that in Genesis chapter 26, that when a second famine came long after Abraham is dead, and now Isaac is grown, he has wives, he has servants, female servants and male servants. He's a wealthy man. He has animals and all kinds of things. There comes a second famine like the one that was there. And automatically, without consulting God, Isaac wakes up and tells his wives and servants that we had to pack and leave for Egypt because there is famine where we are. And he gets, they thought it was a joke, but the guy just gathered everybody and orders everybody out, because that's what he knew you do when there's trouble. But before he gathered his servants and wives and loaded them up on and loaded them up on camel bags and to go to Egypt, where people go during the time of famine, the word of the Lord comes to him from verse 2. I want us to read Genesis 26 and verse 2. It says, Then the Lord appeared to him and said, Do not go down to Egypt. Live in the land of which I shall tell you. Dwell in this land, and I will be with you, and I will bless you. For to you and your descendants I give all these lands, and I will perform the oath which I swore to Abraham your father, and I will make your descendants multiply as the stars of heaven. I will give to your descendants all these lands, and in your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. Because Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments and my statutes and my laws. Now listen to verse 6. So Isaac dwelt in Gerar. He was just about to move. He was about to relocate. He was about to run away from the famine and go where things looked better or looked greener. And the word of the Lord comes and tells him, make no mistake. You should not move. Stay here. And this famine, I know there is famine, I know things are not working. Stay here, and if you stay here, I will do 5-6 things that are very important. I will be with you, I will bless you, I will give to your descendants this land that you are standing on, and I will perform my word that I promised your father Abraham. And it continues and continues. But let me, because I'll cover this in 3-4 series, let me just kind of dwell on today. He's told, do not go. We realize that I told you in the part 1 of this message that you are either coming out of a famine, or you are in a famine situation right now, or you are about to enter into a famine situation. So long as you live in this world, you will get into seasons. Different seasons and times of life will come. I promised that I would share with you on the issue of multiplication during the time of famine. But please allow me to come to that one on part 3 of this message and dwell on this issue that, I talk about settlement. God tells Isaac, settle down, settle down. I know there is famine. I know your sheep is threatened because the grass is dry. I know your goats are threatened. There's no green vegetation around you. I know your children are in danger because the crops are failed, or there's crop failure. I know even you as a father, as a leader, you feel threatened because you don't know what to do with your animals and your servants and everybody else. But I want you to settle down. Now, how do you settle down in a famine so that you can survive it? Because the topic is surviving your famine. How do you settle down when everything is wrong around you? This is what many Christians in this world have not come to understand, that you can settle down. You can settle down so long as you know that God will settle down with you. You can be in an hostile environment and still have peace in it because you know God is with you in that time or through that season. You can be going through financial difficulties and still not cry. You can be going through difficulties of all kinds. You can be going through your marriage could be going through a rocky situation or a rocky time, or could be going through difficulties right now. There could be strained relationship between your husband and your wife, and you still find peace in that famine, in that kind of misunderstanding, because you know God has promised me that he's going to be with me in this famine. I want you to understand this is very clear, and I'm not just trying to repeat it. I want it to get into your system. That God tells him, do not leave, and if you choose to stay according to my commandment, I will be with you, and I will bless you, and I will give to your descendants the land that you are in. Now, when you know God is on your side and is with you, you can settle down. When you know that God is going to bless you in this hostile environment or in this place, and I told you it could be a church where you feel like, oh my goodness, I can't stay anymore. It may be a place where you're working and you feel like, me, I have to leave. It could be simply a town or a city where you are and you feel like you have to leave. You are tempted to change your location. You are tempted to change your job. You are tempted to change your church. You are tempted to change many things, or your business strategy, or the business from this to this. But the Lord comes and tells you, do not. Then how do you settle down? I want to join this with the situation. Join with me as we go to the Red Sea, where Moses is leading about 2 million people who are nagging, who are grumbling and murmuring, and every time they want to stone him to death. And they come to the Red Sea, and God tells Moses, be still and know that I am God. Be still. How do you maintain stillness of mind, of soul and spirit during the time of famine? I guarantee you, Isaac discovered that being where God is more important than being where everybody else is. Isaac discovered being where God has promised to bless you in is better than being where you are promised great things by human beings, because human beings change, but God doesn't change. So Isaac chooses to follow God. I don't know whether you have chosen to follow God. Be on the side of God, where God is. Even when everybody else is running away, I don't know whether you have chosen to stand still because God has told you to do that. The enemy in the Red Sea was approaching fast. Right before them was the Red Sea. And I've been there many times where they crossed, and I can guarantee you it's an imposing and intimidating, body of water right before you. And behind you there's the approaching Egyptian army, and on this side there's the barren desert, and on the other side is the barracks of Egypt, the military barracks of Egypt, which are still there up to this day. Now look at this. You are surrounded, and God comes and tells Moses, be still. He tells the children of Israel, be still and know that I am God. And he says, for the Egyptians that you see today, you will see them no more. It is easy for you to think. The human mind tells you, of course, you will not see them because you'll be dead. Your human reasoning tells you, yeah, God is right. God is right. You won't see them anymore because you will be buried. Dead guys don't see. Dead guys don't even fear. They don't even know what's going on around them. But what God meant was not that they'll be dead. He meant that the enemy who looks so strong right now will be defeated by God, by his power. The enemy that looks so equipped more than you, the weapon that looks so strong or stronger than your defense, will be brought to nothing by the power of God. That's what happens when you choose to settle down. When God says settle down, when he told Isaac to settle down, then it meant that it is not Isaac who is going to change or control the situation. Then heaven was going to control the situation. I want to invite you, as I go through this 4-part series on surviving your famine, to understand that when you choose to settle down, then you give God a chance to prove himself to you. You give God a chance to become God to you. You give God an opportunity to prove his power and majesty to you. But when you run, and you choose to run away, and God is trying to tell you, stop, or I am with you, I'm going to stay, then God watches you as you run away from him. And like the prodigal son, he knows you're going to bankrupt yourself shortly, and you will start you find yourself in a very horrible situation, and you come back. If you left in 3-piece suits, you come back with 23 pieces on your suit. You will not even know which one was the original, because you'll be so tattered, you'll be so messed up. And then when you come back like the father, welcome to the father home, our heavenly father will still receive you. But why would you bankrupt yourself when you can settle down where God has commanded you, that he has told you that your blessing is? I want you to know, the fact that there is adversity where you are, the fact that there is famine where you are, the fact that things are not working well, doesn't mean that pick up and your goods and run. I told you, you cannot stay on the transit mode every day, every week, every month, every year. You are on transit. No. God told Isaac, settle down and I'll be with you. Bishop Mbai would want to run. Oh my goodness, and you better know, every time I feel like running away, when the job becomes tough, when the work of God becomes tough, when things are not working, when mathematics are not balancing, my questions are not balancing, when the ministry is going through trauma or some issues, or there are some things that I expect to do, or promises that I gave and I can't meet them. Let me tell you, sometimes I feel like running away, but I've discovered when you run away, you expose yourself to the enemy. You expose yourself to the enemy. You become ready. Dinner is served at the table of the enemy when you run away from a situation when God has not told you to run. Are you sure the decision that you made last week, you consulted God's blessing to know his position? Are you sure the decision you're about to make, God is with you in this? Could you be suffering because you went or you left a little bit too early, or you quit a little bit too early? Could you be going through this desert because you walked away from your place of blessing, or you walked away from your assignment and your God appointed place? Did you quit too soon in that job? Could your family be going through difficult times because could your children be running, going without proper care and dropped out of school because you made that decision without thinking? Could it be the reason why? Could it be the reason why? Could it be the reason why you are desert? The desert heat looks so strong, so scorchy. Could it be because you ran to Egypt instead of staying in Gerar when the famine struck? Let's just for a moment look at the possibility or the probability that Isaac succeeded picking up his wife and children and servants and the animals and go to Egypt. I guarantee you, he would not have dropped dead. His animals would not have died. He would have even fared better. There was enough food. But what is food minus God? What is that marriage you are pursuing with a sinner? The guy you're hanging around is not born again. You're trying to turn stones into bread. You know that stone. You're trying to convert that stone. You know that sinner, that guy, because he has money. You're trying to turn him into bread. You know, one thing about bread is soft today when it's manufactured, but after 3 days, it hardens up. The moisture leaves and it becomes as hard as a rock. Why would you convert a sinner into a saint, knowing that all you want is to get married to him for his money, for his education, for the bright future that is promising? You know the girl you are pursuing, my brother. You're watching me on television, you're sitting in your sitting room right now, or you're in your office, or you are somewhere, you know, where you have access to television on your mobile phone, and you know for sure that the girl you are dating is not born again. And you know God has said no, but because she has academic excellence, because she is beautiful, because she looks sleek, she looks, whoo, she's like hair glow, she makes other heads turn, you still want to pursue it. And you know you are converting this stone into bread. Can I guarantee you it won't work? It won't work. Isaac would have gone to Egypt and looked to everybody like he has succeeded, but he would have succeeded minus the presence of God, the blessing of God, and then he would have walked away from his inheritance. You don't have to be the next victim. Next time, you don't have to be the next casualty. You don't have to be the next casualty. Next time, when I come to talk about how God multiplies you when he finds you in your place of assignment, in your place of blessing, you will be glad that you are watching this telecast. The Lord bless you and do you good. See you next time.